I turned 40 and threw myself a birthday party. Nobody came. A week later, my daughter sent a text, "Mom's 37th birthday, 1,800 per person. Venmo me." No apology. Just a bill. I sent $1 with a note that said, "Congratulations." Then I changed the locks and blocked every number. 2 days later, my wife tried to get into our joint account, blocked. So they reported me as a missing person. And that's when the police showed up at my door. I thought I knew betrayal. I thought I'd seen it all. But nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for the night I realized my own family wasn't just abandoning me, they were actively trying to erase me. The air in our once vibrant living room hung heavy and still, thick with the phantom scent of uncelebrated birthday cake and the suffocating silence of 6 empty chairs. Outside, the autumn wind rattled the windows, but inside, it was the chimes of the grandfather clock striking 8 that truly pierced my soul, each gong a hammer blow reminding me of how utterly alone I was. It had been 3 agonizing hours. 3 hours I'd spent waiting, staring at the half-hearted streamers and the brightly iced Happy 40th cake I'd picked up myself. Every single place setting, meticulously arranged that morning while my wife, Laura, and our kids, Chloe, 19, and Noah, 16, were supposedly running errands, lay untouched. My phone was glued to my hand, my thumbs aching from scrolling through countless unanswered texts to Laura. "Where are you guys? The food's getting cold. Is everything okay? Please call me." Even Laura's sister, Sarah, had picked up, her voice laced with such obvious discomfort that her flimsy excuses about not knowing their whereabouts almost made me laugh. The lie was paper thin. You see, 2 decades ago, I, Arthur Miller, was just a struggling contractor with a head full of dreams and an empty wallet. Now, I'm the founder and CEO of Miller Construction, a multi-million-dollar company that built half the shopping centers in this county. I worked my fingers to the bone, I sacrificed, but I never missed a single birthday, an anniversary, a school play. Family always came first. Until now, it seemed. Then, my phone buzzed. A text from Noah. "Sorry, Dad. Mom said, we're running late. Be home soon." My heart sank. More lies. Months ago, I'd installed a tracking app on Noah's phone after catching him sneaking out to parties. And right now, according to that little red dot, my son was sitting comfortably at the Harborview Hotel, a luxury resort just 20 miles away. I walked to the bar, my hand shaking slightly as I poured 3 fingers of bourbon. My day had been consumed by preparing for a celebration that was never going to happen. I hadn't even checked social media. But I did now. The first post in my Instagram feed stopped me dead. It was from Chloe's account. A group photo. A lavish hotel ballroom. There they were, my daughter, my son, my wife, and at least 30 other people. Friends, extended family, even some of my business associates. All dressed in formal attire, champagne glasses raised around a magnificent 3-tiered cake. The caption? "Mom's 30th birthday bash. Hashtag best night ever." My blood ran cold. Mom's 30th? Laura was 39, almost 40. I zoomed in. And there he was, standing right behind Laura, Max Sterling, her tennis instructor. He was far too close, his hand resting possessively on the small of her back. As I scrolled through more photos, each click was like another piece of a shattered puzzle falling into place, revealing a horrifying picture. Laura's sudden, intense interest in tennis 6 months ago. The late-night strategy sessions with her new business partner. The mysterious weekend conferences. The gradual, chilling emotional distance that had crept between us. Then, my phone buzzed again. A Venmo notification. From Chloe. An $1,800 request. The description? Mom's 30th birthday. Your share. No apology. No explanation. Just a bill. My heart hammered against my ribs. A cold rage, sharp and crystalline, began to form in my chest. 20 years of marriage. 2 children I had raised, loved, poured my very soul into. A life built from absolute nothing, through backbreaking work and relentless sacrifice. And this was what it amounted to. I drained the bourbon in one burning swallow, the liquid doing nothing to quench the fire in my gut. I opened my laptop. First, I transferred half of our joint funds into a new account under my name only. Then I called a locksmith. By midnight, when their car finally pulled into the driveway, I watched from my dark study as they spilled out, laughing, oblivious. They stopped dead when they saw my car. The lights were out. The house was locked. And the locks had been changed. The security codes reset. Dad. Noah's voice, muffled through the door. We can't get in. I heard Laura's strained reply. He's probably asleep. Use your key, honey. I am. It's not working. I took out my phone. To Chloe, I sent a Venmo payment. Exactly $1. The description? Congratulations. Then I turned off my phone. I closed my eyes. And in the silent, empty house, I began to plan. My family had just made the biggest mistake of their lives. And I was just getting started. The very next morning, I found myself sitting across from Diana Ramirez, the toughest divorce attorney in the state. She had a reputation for ruthlessness, earned the nickname the Executioner among legal circles, and right now, she was exactly who I needed. My hands trembled slightly as I slid a thick folder across her polished desk. They spent the night at the Sterling residence, I said, my voice flat. My wife and children. After I'd changed the locks. Diana opened the folder, her gaze sharp as she flipped through the photos inside. Images that I had hoped, prayed, would never exist. Photos from the private investigator I'd hired 3 months ago, when Laura's vague explanations and late nights started gnawing at me. You've been planning this for some time, Arthur, she observed, not a hint of judgment in her tone. I wanted to be wrong, I replied, my eyes fixed on a photo of Laura and Max Sterling kissing in a hotel parking garage. The pain was still fresh, but it was quickly being overshadowed by something colder. I gave her every single opportunity to come clean. Instead, she just escalated. The pictures told a sickening story: lunch dates, whispered meetings in hotel lobbies, stolen moments in her office building. But the financial evidence, that was the real gut punch. She's been siphoning money from our joint accounts for months, I continued, my voice tight. Small amounts at first, then larger transfers. Over $200,000, all to a shell company Max created 6 months ago. Ostensibly, for a wellness retreat business they were supposedly launching together. I let out a hollow laugh. The only service they were providing was to each other. And my children. Chloe knows everything. She's been helping her mother cover her tracks, probably in exchange for some financial incentive. Noah, I'm not sure how much he understands. Diana methodically reviewed the stack of documents. Your wife organized this birthday party at the Harborview, correct? That must have been incredibly expensive. $64,000, I finished for her. She invited 48 guests, charged them each $1,800, then pocketed the difference. The actual cost per person was closer to $750. So, she profited from her own birthday party, while excluding me, her husband, entirely. I leaned forward, the chill in my eyes unwavering. I want everything, Diana. The house, the business, full custody of Noah. And I want Laura and Max to pay for every single lie they've told. Legally, we can pursue remedies for the fraud and asset concealment, Diana stated, her gaze unwavering. I'm not just talking about legal remedies, I corrected, my voice dropping to a dangerous level. I built my life from nothing. I can rebuild it again if I have to. But I will not let them walk away unscathed. Diana studied me, a flicker of something unreadable in her eyes. There are lines we cannot cross, Arthur. I understand, I said, standing up. Prepare the divorce papers immediately. I'll handle the rest. As I walked out, my phone buzzed. A text from Laura, we need to talk. Where are you staying? I didn't respond. Instead, I called Miguel Sanchez, my most trusted employee. I need information on Max Sterling, I said, no pleasantries exchanged. Everything you can find. Tax records, property holdings, business dealings, legal or otherwise. Consider it done, Arthur, Miguel replied instantly. And your family? I heard the tremor in my own voice. I don't have a family anymore. I ended the call. My next stop was the bank manager who, shockingly, had approved Laura's home equity line of credit without my knowledge. By evening, I had frozen every account Laura could access, removed her as an authorized user on all credit cards, and instructed my company's payroll to redirect my salary to my new, private account. That night, checking into the Four Seasons under an assumed name, I made one more call. Felix, I greeted my old college roommate, now a cybersecurity expert. I need a favor. One you can never, ever tell anyone about. The game was on. Just 2 days later, I was back in a nondescript rental car, parked across the street from Sterling Tennis Academy. Watching. Laura's sleek car pulled up, and out stepped Max, greeting her with a kiss that lingered way too long for just an instructor and a student. My stomach churned. Then my phone buzzed. It was Noah. Dad, where are you? Mom's freaking out. She says you've emptied the accounts. Not emptied, Noah. Secured, I corrected him, trying to keep my voice steady. How are you doing, son? I'm scared, Dad. Chloe's saying you've lost your mind. Mom's been crying all day. What's going on? His voice cracked with genuine fear, and a pang of sympathy shot through me. Ask your mother about her tennis instructor, Noah, I said, my tone even, though inside I was boiling. Ask her why she threw a $60,000 birthday party without inviting her husband. Ask your sister why she thought it was perfectly acceptable to bill me for it afterward. Silence hung heavy on the line. Then, Noah's small voice, I didn't know about the party until that night. Mom said you were away on business. When I saw you weren't there, I tried to call, but Chloe, she took my phone. My armor cracked a little. I'm sorry you're caught in the middle of this, Noah. I wanted to scoop him up, to hold him tight. Can I see you? Please, not yet. Things need to play out first. Mom went to the police this morning, Noah blurted out, a fresh wave of panic in his voice. She reported you as a missing person. Said she's afraid you might hurt yourself. I almost laughed, a bitter, humorless sound. Missing? Did she mention she's been having an affair? That she locked me out of my own house. She told the police you've been acting erratic for months, that you've been paranoid, accusing her of things. Noah hesitated. They seem concerned. So that was her play. Paint me as unstable. Build a narrative that I was having some kind of breakdown. Noah, listen carefully. I'm perfectly fine. I'm thinking more clearly than I have in months. But your mother is trying to get ahead of the story. What story? The one where she's been cheating on me with Max Sterling for at least 6 months. The one where she's stolen hundreds of thousands of dollars from our family. The one where your sister has become her accomplice. Another silence. I saw some texts on Mom's phone, Noah admitted finally, his voice barely a whisper. Between her and Mr. Sterling. They were not about tennis. Keep this conversation between us, Noah. For now, just go along with whatever they say. Act normal. Can you do that? Yeah, he agreed quietly. Are you coming home soon? Not to that house. But I promise we'll see each other soon. I ended the call just as a police cruiser pulled into my driveway across town, visible on the home security app on my tablet. Right on schedule. I watched through the exterior cameras as 2 officers approached the front door. Felix's hack into the system gave me complete remote access, blocking anyone else from seeing the feeds. The officers knocked, peered through windows, then one spoke into his radio, presumably reporting an empty residence with no signs of disturbance. I switched cameras, watching them check the backyard, finding everything secure. Eventually, they returned to their vehicle and drove off. My phone immediately rang. Laura. For the 20th time that day. I declined the call, opening a text from Felix instead. System in place. All communications intercepted. Location tracking active on all devices. Bank alerts set up. You'll know every move they make. Time for phase 2, I murmured, starting the rental car. My next destination was the office of Brenda Hayes, the private investigator who'd been documenting Laura and Max's affair. I need more, I told her, skipping the pleasantries. Not just their relationship. I need everything on Sterling. Business dealings, gambling habits, tax situations, legal troubles, former relationships, the works. Brenda nodded, flipping open her notebook. My sources indicate he's not as successful as he appears. The academy is hemorrhaging money. He's leveraged to the hilt. So, he needs my wife's money, I concluded, a grim smile playing on my lips. Or rather, my money. Exactly. And there's something else. Brenda handed me a file. Sterling has a pattern. This is the third wealthy, married woman he's become involved with. The previous two divorced their husbands, liquidated significant assets to invest in ventures with Sterling, then found themselves abruptly single and significantly poorer within a year. I flipped through the documentation, my jaw tightening. He's a professional predator, essentially. But he's never been charged with anything. He's careful. Everyone makes mistakes, Brenda, I said, closing the file. Find me his. That evening, working from my hotel room, an alert from Felix's tracking system pinged my laptop. Laura, Chloe, and Max were all converging on the local police station. Right on cue, my burner phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Mr. Miller, this is Officer Ben Carter with the Metro Police Department. Your wife has reported you missing. She's quite concerned. I'm not missing, Officer Carter. I'm voluntarily absent. My voice was calm, pleasant even. Would you be willing to come to the station to confirm that in person? Just to clear things up. Of course, I agreed. I'd be happy to explain exactly why I've chosen to distance myself from my wife. An hour later, I walked into the police station, immaculately dressed in a tailored suit. As I entered, I saw Laura, red-eyed, playing the part of the distraught wife, Chloe at her side. Max Sterling lurked in the background, attempting to appear. Concerned yet detached. The performance shattered the moment they saw me. Arthur. Laura gasped, her manufactured distress instantly replaced with raw shock. Officer Carter looked between us, confusion etched on his face. Mrs. Miller, your husband appears to be fine. I never said he wasn't. Laura recovered quickly. I said he was missing. He disappeared without a word. Cleaned out our accounts. Actually, I interrupted smoothly, a new confidence surging through me. I'd like to file a report of my own. Financial fraud, identity theft, and adultery, though I understand that last one isn't technically a crime anymore. As Laura's face paled, I allowed myself a small, internal smile for the first time in days. The game had truly begun. What exactly are you accusing your wife of, Mr. Miller? Officer Ben Carter asked, leading me to a small interview room. Laura, Chloe, and Max remained in the waiting area, likely seething. I placed a thick folder on the table, its contents heavy with the weight of shattered trust. My wife, I began, my voice clear and steady, has been systematically transferring funds from our joint accounts to a shell corporation established by her lover, Max Sterling. She forged my signature on a home equity line of credit application. And she used my business contacts to solicit donations for her birthday party under false pretenses. Officer Carter leafed through the documents, his expression growing graver with each page. These are serious allegations. They're documented facts, I corrected, meeting his gaze. My attorney has already begun civil proceedings, but I believe some of these actions constitute criminal fraud. And you haven't been coercive or threatening toward your wife, he pressed. I changed the locks on my house after discovering her infidelity and financial deception. I protected my assets by transferring funds to secure accounts. I temporarily ceased communication while gathering evidence, I stated plainly. None of those actions are illegal. The officer studied me. Why not just divorce her and be done with it? I leaned forward, my voice dropping, imbued with a cold conviction. Because this isn't just about a failed marriage, officer. My wife and Mr. Sterling have been systematically targeting my finances, my reputation, and my relationship with my children. Now, they're attempting to paint me as mentally unstable to gain an advantage in upcoming legal proceedings. I won't allow that narrative to stand. After nearly an hour of detailed questioning, Officer Carter escorted me back to the waiting area. The moment Laura saw me, she launched into her performance. Arthur, we've been so worried, she cried, lunging forward as if to embrace me. Why would you disappear like that? Why would you lock us out of our home? I stepped back, avoiding her touch. Officer Carter now has copies of the evidence, Laura. I suggest you find a good criminal defense attorney. Max Sterling, ever the charmer, stepped forward. Look, man, I don't know what you think is happening here. I cut him off, my voice a whip crack. Mr. Sterling, I've documented 37 instances of you and my wife engaging in extramarital activities over the past 6 months. I have records of $217,000 transferred from my family's accounts to your shell corporation. I know about the other women, Patricia Wilson and Eleanor Greer. I know your pattern. The color drained from Max's face, leaving him a sickly pale. Chloe, always her mother's defender, inserted herself between us. Dad, you're embarrassing yourself. Mom and Max are business partners. And you? I turned to my daughter, my gaze unwavering. Billing me $1,800 for a party I wasn't even invited to. That was a special touch, Chloe. It was a surprise party, she stammered. You were supposed to save it. You were supposed to save it? I scoffed. The guest list is in that folder, Chloe. My name isn't on it. Officer Carter cleared his throat, sensing the escalating tension. I think we've established that Mr. Miller is not missing or in danger. The rest of these matters appear to be civil disputes. Precisely, I agreed, turning to leave. Which is why I'll be leaving now. Please inform Mrs. Miller that all communication should go through our respective attorneys moving forward. As I walked toward the exit, Laura rushed after me, her voice desperate. Where are you going? What about Noah? He needs his father. Noah is welcome to contact me directly anytime, I replied without slowing. Unlike the rest of you, he hasn't lied to my face or stolen from me. Outside, Noah was waiting in Laura's car, his young face a mixture of relief and anxiety. Dad. I hugged my son tightly, checking him over. I'm okay, Noah. This situation is complicated, but I promise I'm okay. Mom said you're having some kind of breakdown. Your mother is trying to protect herself, I said carefully. There are things happening that you don't fully understand yet. Then help me understand, Noah pleaded, his eyes wide. Everyone's lying to me. I glanced back at the police station where Laura, Chloe, and Max were emerging, their faces thunderous. Not here, I said quietly. I'll text you later. We'll meet somewhere private. As I walked to my rental car, I could feel Laura's eyes boring into my back. The wounded spouse act hadn't worked with the police. I knew she'd try something else. And I was counting on it. The following morning, I met Noah at a quiet diner 20 miles outside of town. He looked utterly exhausted, dark circles shadowing his eyes. Mom and Chloe were fighting all night, he explained, taking a sip of the coffee I'd ordered for him. Chloe keeps saying they need to neutralize you before the divorce. Neutralize. I raised an eyebrow, the word chilling me. Her words, not mine. They don't know I can hear them, Noah whispered, lowering his voice. I've been recording their conversations. A surge of complex emotions hit me, pride that my son was so perceptive, mixed with a deep sadness that he'd been forced into such a position. That shows initiative, Noah, but be careful. I don't want you putting yourself at risk. Is it true about Mom and Mr. Sterling? He asked, his gaze direct. I nodded slowly, my heart heavy. I'm afraid so. And the money? Also true. They've been planning this for months, possibly longer. Noah stared into his coffee cup. What about Chloe? How long has she known? Based on text messages Felix recovered, at least 4 months. She was promised a condo in Malibu and tuition for graduate school in exchange for her cooperation. She sold you out for a condo? Noah looked horrified, disgusted. People rationalize betrayal in many ways, son, I said gently, trying to mask my own disgust. Your sister probably tells herself I deserve it somehow. What happens now? Now, you go back home and pretend we never had this conversation. But I want you to pack a bag. Your important belongings, documents, favorite possessions, anything irreplaceable. Hide it somewhere secure. Why? Because things are going to get worse before they get better, Noah, I explained, my voice grim. And I need to know you're prepared. After Noah left, I called Miguel. It's confirmed, he reported. Sterling has approached 3 of your major clients, claiming you're having personal issues that might impact upcoming projects. He's offering to connect them with more stable contractors. Perfect, I said, a cold satisfaction spreading through me. Proceed with the next phase. By noon, I had personally met with each of those clients, explaining that a private family situation was being weaponized against me by a competitor. I provided documented evidence of Max Sterling's financial difficulties and his well-established pattern of targeting wealthy, married women. All three clients not only recommitted to Miller Construction, but eagerly agreed to feed Sterling false information about their supposed concerns with my stability. The trap was being meticulously set. That afternoon, a text from Felix popped up, ENT accessing financial records looking for hidden accounts. They wouldn't find any. The money I'd secured was now flowing through a complex network of temporary holding companies, established years ago as a contingency plan. You see, I've always believed in preparing for worst-case scenarios, a habit born from my impoverished childhood, when my own father abandoned us, leaving us utterly destitute. My next stop was the Harborview Hotel, the site of Laura's extravagant birthday party. Howard Lakater, the event manager, greeted me warmly. Mr. Miller, I was surprised you couldn't attend your wife's celebration. She said you were called away on business. That's actually why I'm here, Howard, I replied, my smile thin. I recently discovered some irregularities in the billing for that event. Howard frowned. Everything was paid in full. Mrs. Miller handled it personally. I'm sure she did. Would you mind sharing the actual cost of the event? For my records. After some hesitation and a gentle reminder about the substantial business Miller Construction had brought to the hotel over the years, Howard pulled up the invoice. $36,422. And guests were charged $1,800 each, I noted, doing the quick math in my head. For 48 attendees, that's $86,400. Quite a profit margin. Howard looked visibly uncomfortable. I wasn't aware of any guest contributions. No, he wouldn't be, I murmured. That was handled privately. I smiled reassuringly. I'm not blaming you, Howard, but I would appreciate copies of all documentation related to the event for my divorce proceedings. The word divorce opened all the necessary doors. By the time I left, I had complete records of every single detail Laura had planned, including her specific instruction that I was not to be admitted to the party under any circumstances, even if I somehow learned about it. The cold, calculated cruelty of it all. Back in my hotel room, I reviewed the day's developments with Felix via a secure video call. They're getting desperate, Felix reported. Laura tried to access your email accounts, but couldn't get past the new security. Sterling called 3 banks trying to find your new accounts. Chloe has been contacting your former employees, looking for dirt. And Noah? I asked, holding my breath. Clean so far. No suspicious communications. He seems to be keeping his word. I nodded, relieved. What about the offshore transfers? Sterling made initial inquiries this morning. Our false trail is in place. The Cayman account looks legitimate, complete with believable banking history. If he tries to access it, we'll have him on attempted financial fraud. Keep monitoring, I finished. I want to know the moment they take the bait. 3 hours later, the alert came. Sterling had attempted to access the fabricated offshore account using credentials purposely left on a decoy laptop in my home office safe, a safe Laura knew the combination to. I immediately called Diana Ramirez. We've got him, I said, no preamble needed. Attempted unauthorized access to a financial account. The system captured his IP address, device information, everything. Do you want to press charges immediately? Diana asked. Not yet, I replied, a chilling grin spreading across my face. Let's see how deep they'll dig their own graves first. A week into my calculated absence, Felix's surveillance started revealing the first cracks in Laura's carefully constructed alliance. She's burning through cash faster than expected, he reported during our morning briefing. The credit cards are all declined now. Sterling Academy payroll is due tomorrow, and Max is short by almost $30,000. Has he tried accessing the Cayman account again? 3 more attempts, Felix confirmed, each one meticulously logged. He's getting sloppy. Last night, he spent 4 hours searching for ways to bypass banking security protocols. His search history is incriminating. I allowed myself a grim smile. And Chloe? She's demanding her promised condo and tuition money. Apparently, she's already signed a lease based on her mother's guarantees. Everything was proceeding exactly according to plan. Financial pressure, the first step in fracturing their shaky alliance. My phone buzzed with a text from Noah. Mom's meeting with some guy today. Says he's a reputation management consultant. What does that mean? It means they're planning to destroy my public image, I replied, my fingers flying over the keyboard. Can you get a name? 20 minutes later, a photo of a business card arrived. Fletcher Mills, Crisis Management Specialist. I immediately relayed the information to Miguel, who set to work investigating Mills. By afternoon, we had a complete profile. A former tabloid journalist turned PR fixer, specializing in crafting sympathetic narratives for wealthy clients facing public scandal. His usual approach, Miguel reported, is to plant strategic stories with former media colleagues, painting clients as victims while subtly undermining their opponents. Perfect, I murmured, a new layer to my plan forming. Have Brenda approach him. Same cover story we discussed. That evening, Brenda Hayes met Fletcher Mills in an upscale bar across town, posing as a wealth management advisor concerned about a client being manipulated by an unscrupulous contractor named Arthur Miller. The seeds of doubt were expertly sown. Meanwhile, I quietly arranged to meet with several of Laura's closest friends, women who had attended the infamous birthday party and received those Venmo requests. I approached each meeting with calculated vulnerability, expressing confusion and deep hurt rather than anger. I just want to understand what happened, I told Jessica Davies, Laura's maid of honor from our wedding. One day, I'm planning my 40th birthday. The next, I discover my wife is celebrating without me and charging our friends for the privilege. Jessica shifted uncomfortably. Laura said the party was her idea, but that you approved everything. She said you were handling the finances. Did you think it was strange that I wasn't there? She told us you had an emergency project crisis, that you were devastated to miss it. I nodded thoughtfully. And the $1,800 charge? Did that seem reasonable for a birthday dinner? Jessica hesitated. It seemed high, but Laura said it included a charitable donation to that wellness retreat she's launching with her tennis coach. Interesting. I slid my phone across the table, showing Jessica the actual hotel invoice. The real cost was about $750 per person. As Jessica's expression shifted from confusion to dawning comprehension, I knew I had another ally. By week's end, I had spoken with 12 of Laura's closest friends, systematically dismantling her social support network with nothing but documented facts and simple, undeniable questions. The isolation strategy was working. On day 10 of my strategic absence, my phone rang with an urgent call from Noah. Dad, they're planning something big. Mr. Sterling's moving into our house tonight. Mom says they're accelerating their timeline because of your aggressive tactics. They're meeting with some doctor tomorrow morning. What kind of doctor? I asked, my heart sinking as I already suspected the answer. A psychiatrist. I heard Mom practicing what she's going to say. She's going to claim you've been abusive and paranoid for years, that you're having some kind of breakdown. Trying to build a case for an involuntary psychiatric hold, I concluded, my voice tight. Bold move. What do we do? Nothing. You maintain your cover. I'll handle this. I paused. Actually, there's something you can do. Make sure you're present for that meeting, if possible. Record everything. I will, Noah promised, his voice trembling. Dad, be careful. After ending the call, I immediately contacted Diana. They're escalating to psychiatric claims, I informed her. I need preemptive measures. Already in motion, Diana assured me. I've filed for an emergency hearing regarding the financial fraud. Judge Eleanor Vance is sympathetic. She's experienced similar tactics in her own divorce. More importantly, I've arranged for you to meet with Dr. Evelyn Shaw tomorrow morning. She's a respected forensic psychiatrist who can evaluate you and document your mental stability. Excellent, I approved. And the financial trap? Sterling accessed the fake Cayman account 4 more times today. Each attempt more aggressive than the last. He's trying to transfer funds now, not just view balances. We have everything documented. Perfect timing, I said, a cold resolve hardening my voice. Prepare the injunction papers. We move tomorrow. That night, as I finalized details with my team, I received an unexpected video call request from Chloe. After a moment's hesitation, I accepted. My daughter's tear-streaked face appeared on the screen. Dad, I need to talk to you. I'm listening, I replied, keeping my expression carefully neutral. Everything's falling apart, she blurted. Mr. Sterling moved in today. And he's not who Mom said he was. He's controlling and mean when no one's watching. He called me a spoiled brat when I asked about my condo money. The money that was promised to you for betraying your father? I asked calmly, watching her flinch. I didn't see it that way at first. Mom said you were financially abusive, that you controlled everything, that this was her only chance for independence. And now I don't know what to believe, she admitted, her voice cracking. But Sterling threatened Noah tonight when Noah questioned why he was using her office. He actually grabbed him by the shirt. My expression hardened, a dangerous edge creeping into my voice. Is Noah okay? He's locked in his room. Sterling took his phone. Chloe wiped her eyes frantically. Dad, I'm scared. Mom's not acting like herself. She's letting Sterling make all the decisions. Why are you telling me this, Chloe? What do you want from me? She hesitated, then looked me straight in the eye. I want out. I was wrong. I'm sorry. I studied my daughter's face, searching for any signs of deception. Your mother and Sterling are meeting with a psychiatrist tomorrow to build a case against me. Did you know about that? Chloe nodded miserably. It was Sterling's idea. He said it was the fastest way to get control of everything. And you were okay with having your father forcibly committed to a psychiatric facility based on lies? No. I didn't think it would go that far. She looked away, shame etched on her face. I just wanted Mom to be happy. Anne. I wanted the condo, the tuition money. Her voice was a barely audible whisper. Yes. It was stupid and selfish. I see that now. I sighed. If you truly want to make amends, I need something from you. Anything. Evidence. I need you to record Sterling admitting to his financial motivations. I need documentation of his plans regarding me. Can you do that? Chloe nodded determinedly. Already started. After what happened with Noah, I installed a recording app on my phone. I have Sterling saying they need to neutralize you before you destroy everything. For the first time in days, I felt a glimmer of hope for my daughter. Send everything to this email, I instructed, typing an address into the chat. Then pack a bag. Essentials only. Be ready to leave at a moment's notice. What are you going to do? This, I replied, my voice filled with a quiet certainty, ends once and for all. At precisely 8:30 a.m., I arrived at the courthouse. Immaculately dressed. Flanked by Diana Ramirez, my ruthless attorney, and Dr. Evelyn Shaw, the forensic psychiatrist who had evaluated me that morning. Dr. Shaw's words echoed in my mind. Your mental status is entirely stable, Mr. Miller. You're understandably distressed by the betrayal you've experienced, but your thinking remains logical and your actions proportionate to the situation. Judge Eleanor Vance, a stern woman in her 60s, had agreed to hear my emergency petition regarding the financial fraud and the impending psychiatric manipulation. This was before Laura could even implement her own twisted strategy. At 9 a.m. sharp, the bailiff called the case. Neither Laura, Max, nor their attorney had any idea about this hearing, a legal maneuver Diana had orchestrated through her connections. Your Honor, Diana began, her voice cutting through the courtroom's hushed tension. We're seeking emergency injunctive relief on behalf of Mr. Arthur Miller, who has documented evidence of systematic financial fraud perpetrated by his wife, Laura Miller, and her paramour, Theodore Sterling. Judge Vance reviewed the documentation carefully. These are serious allegations, Counselor. Why the emergency filing without notice to opposing parties? Because, Your Honor, as we speak, Mrs. Miller and Mr. Sterling are meeting with a psychiatrist to fabricate claims of mental instability against my client. A transparent attempt to gain control of his assets and prevent him from defending himself against their fraud. I methodically presented the evidence. Bank statements showing unauthorized transfers, the fake Cayman account access logs with Max Sterling's digital fingerprints all over them, and yes, even Chloe's recordings of Max discussing their need to lock me up before I could ruin everything. Dr. Shaw then testified to my unwavering mental stability and the disturbing pattern of gaslighting that was evident in the recorded conversations. By 10:30 a.m., Judge Vance had heard enough. "I'm granting the emergency injunction," she declared, her voice firm. "Mrs. Miller and Mr. Sterling are hereby prohibited from accessing any accounts or property belonging to Mr. Miller. Furthermore, I'm issuing a restraining order preventing them from making any public or private claims regarding Mr. Miller's mental health without evaluation by a court-appointed psychiatrist." As we exited the courtroom, my phone buzzed. A text from Noah. "They just left the doctor's office. Sterling's talking about going to the police this afternoon. Mom looks scared." Phase 2, I told Diana, who immediately made a call. 30 minutes later, as Laura and Max returned to the house, they were met by 2 police officers and a court officer, serving them with the emergency injunction and restraining order. From my position across the street, watching through binoculars, I saw Max Sterling's face contort with pure rage. Even from this distance, I could see him gesturing wildly, shouting at the officers, while Laura seemed to shrink beside him, her carefully constructed facade crumbling. My phone buzzed again. "Chloe calling." "Max is losing it," she reported, her voice a hushed whisper. "He's screaming at Mom, saying she ruined everything by not acting faster. The police are still here." "Where are you?" "Upstairs bathroom. Noah's with me." Sterling shoved him when Noah tried to talk to the officers. "He put his hands on Noah again?" My voice went dangerously quiet, all the carefully built composure threatening to shatter. "Yes. Not hard, but definitely aggressive. Stay where you are. Lock the door." I ended the call and dialed Officer Ben Carter directly. "My son just reported that Max Sterling physically assaulted him in my residence," I said without preamble. "My daughter witnessed it. They're currently hiding in an upstairs bathroom." Within minutes, additional police units swarmed the house. I watched as Max was separated from Laura and questioned intensively. When one officer went upstairs, presumably to speak with Noah and Chloe, I knew it was time to make my move. I walked calmly across the street, approaching my home for the first time in almost 2 weeks. As I neared, Officer Carter spotted me and moved to intercept. "Mr. Miller, this is an active police matter." "I need you to. That's my son who was assaulted." I cut him off, my voice firm and unwavering. "I'm going to see him now." Before Carter could object, Noah burst from the front door. "Dad." I embraced him, checking him over for any injuries. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine, Dad," Noah assured me. "Max just pushed me. The cops are taking my statement." Chloe appeared next, her expression a mixture of relief and profound shame as she approached me. "Dad, I'm so sorry for everything." My expression remained neutral. "We'll discuss your role in all this later. Right now, I need you both to pack essential belongings. You're not staying here tonight." Laura chose that exact moment to emerge from the house, her carefully applied makeup streaked with tears. "Arthur, thank God you're here. Max has been arrested. This is all a terrible misunderstanding." "Save it, Laura," I cut her off, my voice cold as ice. "The children are coming with me. The court has granted me temporary custody, pending investigation of the fraud allegations." "What fraud allegations? What are you talking about?" She looked genuinely confused, which confirmed my suspicion that Max had kept her in the dark about some of his more aggressive financial maneuvers. "The $60,000 you and Max stole from our friends at your birthday party," I began, each word a hammer blow. "The $200,000 you transferred to a shell company. The home equity line of credit you forged my signature on. The offshore account he tried to hack into." I smiled thinly. "That last one was a trap, by the way. There was never any money there, just digital breadcrumbs for him to follow right into a felony charge." Laura's face crumpled. "I never meant for any of this to happen. Max said it was all legal, that we were just securing assets before telling you about us, by throwing a birthday party I wasn't invited to, by having our daughter bill me for it afterward, by reporting me as a missing person when I withdrew from your betrayal. Those were Max's ideas," she protested weakly. "He said we needed leverage. And you went along with all of it, Laura," I noted, my gaze unwavering. "Every lie, every manipulation, every betrayal." Officer Carter approached. "Mr. Miller, we've arrested Mr. Sterling for attempted financial fraud and assault." We found multiple devices in his possession containing evidence of attempts to access your accounts. Mrs. Miller is not under arrest at this time, but she's a person of interest in our investigation. Understood. I nodded. My children will be staying with me tonight. Is there any legal reason they cannot leave with me now? No, sir. The emergency custody order covers that. I turned to Noah and Chloe. Get your things. We're leaving in 10 minutes. As my children went upstairs to pack, I faced Laura one last time. 19 years, I said quietly, the words tasting like ash. 19 years I gave you everything I had. I built a company from nothing, so you could have the life you wanted. I worked 80-hour weeks, so you could have your tennis lessons and spa days and charity luncheons. Arthur, please. And in return, you plotted against me. You stole from me. You turned our daughter against me. You planned to have me committed to a psychiatric facility so you could take everything I built. Tears streamed down Laura's face. I made a terrible mistake. We can fix this. No, I said simply, my voice devoid of emotion. We can't. There's nothing left to fix. As Noah and Chloe returned with their bags, I put an arm around each of them, leading them toward my waiting car. I left Laura standing alone on the front steps of the house she would soon lose. The first phase of my reckoning was complete. The following weeks unfolded with a chilling precision, exactly as I had planned. Max Sterling remained in custody, unable to make the substantial bail set by Judge Vance after prosecutors piled on charges of conspiracy to commit fraud, attempted extortion, and witness tampering, all thanks to his threatening messages to Chloe. Laura, facing impending financial ruin and potential criminal charges of her own, hired a desperate attorney who immediately pushed for a settlement conference. They're offering to drop all claims to your business and personal assets, Diana reported during our strategy meeting. In exchange, they want the marital home, a one-time payment of $2 million, and for you to decline pressing criminal charges against Laura. I leaned back in my chair, a faint smile touching my lips. Counter with this, Laura gets nothing except her personal belongings and clothing. She signs a full confession detailing her role in the fraud scheme. In exchange, I'll write a letter to the prosecutor recommending leniency. She'll never agree to that, Arthur. Diana warned, her eyebrows raised. She will, I replied calmly, my eyes cold. When she realizes the alternative is prison. Max is going down regardless. His pattern of targeting wealthy women is too established to ignore now that we've connected the dots. Laura's only hope is to position herself as another victim of his manipulation. Meanwhile, I had moved Noah and Chloe into a luxury apartment downtown, carefully maintaining ownership of the family home. Noah had adjusted remarkably well, clearly relieved to be away from that toxic environment. Chloe's situation was more complex, a tangled web of guilt and regret. I don't deserve your forgiveness, Dad, she confessed one evening as we sat on the apartment balcony, the city lights twinkling below us. I betrayed you for money and status. Yes, you did, I agreed, my tone matter-of-fact, not accusatory. The question is what you've learned from it. Chloe stared at her hands, twisting them together. That loyalty matters more than material things. That people who offer quick riches in exchange for betrayal can't be trusted. That I threw away something precious for something worthless. Good lessons, I nodded. Expensive ones, too. What happens now, with me? I studied my daughter's face, searching for genuine sincerity. That depends on you. I've arranged for the remainder of your tuition to be paid through a trust. You'll receive a modest monthly allowance for living expenses. The rest, including rebuilding our relationship, will take time and consistent effort on your part. And Mom? What's going to happen to her? Your mother made choices, Chloe, I said evenly. Now she'll face consequences. 2 days later, Laura's attorney called Diana with their response to my counteroffer. Laura would accept my terms with one modification. She wanted ongoing access to Noah. Her parental rights are not negotiable, her attorney insisted. I considered this. Noah, despite everything, still loved his mother. A complete severance would only hurt him. Limited, supervised visitation, I conceded. Once weekly, in a public location, for 6 months. After that, we reassessed based on Noah's wishes. The deal was struck. Laura signed a comprehensive confession, detailing how Max Sterling had systematically manipulated her into betraying me, though she acknowledged her own willing participation once the affair began. She admitted to the birthday party scheme, the financial fraud, and the planned psychiatric commitment. In exchange, I wrote a carefully worded letter to the prosecutor, suggesting that while Laura should face appropriate legal consequences, her cooperation in building the case against Max should be considered a mitigating factor. The prosecutor ultimately charged Laura with misdemeanor fraud and placed her on probation for 3 years. She was ordered to make restitution to the birthday party guests she had overcharged, plus perform 500 hours of community service. Max, facing more serious charges and with no one willing to support his defense, accepted a plea deal: 5 years in prison for financial fraud, plus restitution to his previous victims. As for Fletcher Mills, the reputation management consultant who'd planned to smear me in the media, he found himself abruptly blacklisted after Brenda Hayes leaked evidence of his less ethical tactics to several industry watchdogs. By month's end, I had reclaimed control of every aspect of my life. My business was thriving, with several new major contracts signed after clients heard about my strategic handling of personal adversity. My relationship with Noah was stronger than ever. And even Chloe was showing genuine remorse and making a real effort toward redemption. Only one loose end remained. 6 months after that fateful, unattended birthday party, I stood in the master bedroom of the house that had once represented my American dream. The movers had just cleared out the last of the furniture. Tomorrow, new owners would take possession, a young couple, blissfully unaware of the betrayal these walls had witnessed. My phone buzzed with a text from Felix: "Paperwork complete. Transfer executed. She'll receive notification by end of day." I allowed myself a grim smile. The final, calculated piece of my plan was now in motion. That afternoon, as I signed the closing documents at Diana's office, Laura was receiving formal notice of her own. The generous divorce settlement she thought she'd negotiated, a small apartment and modest monthly payments, had been contingent on strict behavioral requirements, all outlined in the fine print. Her recent actions, specifically attempting to contact my clients with disparaging claims and even setting up a GoFundMe page portraying herself as a victim of financial abuse, had triggered the nullification clause. Effective immediately, all support payments ceased, and she had 30 days to vacate the apartment. "Isn't that somewhat excessive, Arthur?" Diana asked cautiously, reviewing the updated terms. "Not at all, Diana," I replied calmly, my voice unwavering. I gave her a clear path to a dignified new beginning. She chose, instead, to continue attacking me. Actions have consequences. Later that evening, as I hosted a small dinner at my new home for Noah, Chloe, and a few loyal friends who had stood by me throughout the ordeal, my phone rang with an unfamiliar number. "Mr. Miller?" a tentative female voice asked when I answered. "This is Patricia Wilson. We've never met, but you exposed Max Sterling's scheme. I was one of his previous victims." "I'm aware of your situation, Miss Wilson," I acknowledged, my voice softening slightly. "I'm sorry for what you experienced." "No, I'm calling to thank you," she corrected, her voice filled with emotion. "The restitution Max was ordered to pay, it saved my life. I was about to lose my home after what he took from me." Similar calls came in over the following days from Max's other victims. I listened to each one, offering practical advice on rebuilding after financial devastation, something I understood intimately from my own childhood experiences. 1 month later, I launched the Phoenix Foundation, a nonprofit organization dedicated to supporting victims of relationship-based financial fraud. Using my business acumen and network, we created a system offering legal aid, financial counseling, and temporary support for those rebuilding their lives after such profound betrayal. Noah eagerly joined the Foundation's youth outreach program, helping young people from broken homes navigate their new realities. Even Chloe, having transferred to a local university to be closer to family, volunteered her weekends to the cause. As for Laura, her final attempt at reconciliation came on a rainy Tuesday, exactly 1 year after the birthday party I wasn't invited to. She appeared at my office unannounced. thinner and without the designer clothes and perfect makeup that had once been her armor. "Just 5 minutes," she pleaded with my assistant. "I just need 5 minutes." Against my better judgment, I agreed to see her. "You've done well," she observed, looking around my expansive new office. "The foundation, the business expansion. Everyone speaks highly of you." "What do you want, Laura?" I asked directly, cutting to the chase. "Forgiveness," she answered simply. "Or at least understanding. I've lost everything. My home, my reputation, my children's respect. I'm working as a receptionist at a dentist's office. I live in a studio apartment." "You made choices, Laura," I reminded her, unmoved. "These are the consequences." "I know," she acknowledged, her voice barely a whisper. "But we were married for 19 years. We raised children together. Doesn't that count for anything?" I studied the woman I had once loved beyond reason. It counted for everything. "That's why your betrayal was unforgivable. People make mistakes, Arthur. Terrible ones. But they can change. They can learn." "Some betrayals are too fundamental," I interrupted, my voice firm. "Some broken things can't be repaired." Tears welled in Laura's eyes. "So, that's it? 2 decades together and we end as strangers." "We end as what you made us, Laura," I corrected. A cautionary tale. After she left, I stared out the window at the city's skyline. I felt neither victory nor vindication, just a quiet, profound certainty that I had protected what truly mattered: my dignity, my future, and my children's understanding of consequences. That evening, as I prepared dinner with Noah and Chloe in our new home, watching my children laugh together for the first time in months, I realized that while some fires destroy everything they touch, others, the right kind, purify and make way for new growth. The betrayal had cost me my marriage, my illusions, and my blind trust in others. But in their place, I had built something stronger. A life defined by my own terms, relationships based on earned trust rather than obligation, and a legacy that transformed personal pain into purpose. As Noah proposed a toast to new beginnings, I raised my glass in agreement. Some endings, I had learned, are just better beginnings in disguise. And that's my story. It was a long, dark road, and honestly, I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy. But looking back, it forged me into someone stronger, someone wiser. What do you think? Was my approach too harsh, or was it the only way to truly reclaim my life? Have you ever had to fight back from a betrayal this deep? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I promise, I'm reading every single one. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.